My name is Callie, and I've been married to Brandon for 8 years. Or at least, I thought I knew the man I married. I was running early for our anniversary dinner at the Garden Room, this upscale restaurant Brandon had picked. Traffic was lighter than expected, so I arrived 20 minutes ahead of schedule. As I walked toward our private dining room, I heard Brandon's voice through the partially open door. "Mom, I need to tell you something before everyone gets here," he said. I froze. That was Helen, his mother, in there with him. "What is it, honey?" Helen asked. "Jessica's pregnant." My heart stopped. "Jessica from your office?" Helen's voice rose. "Brandon, please tell me you're joking." "I'm not joking, Mom. She's 3 months along." I pressed myself against the wall, my purse slipping from my shoulder. "What about Callie?" Helen demanded. "I'm going to tell her tonight, after dinner. I'm leaving her, Mom. Jessica and I are going to raise this baby together." "You're throwing away 8 years of marriage for some girl at work?" "It's not like that. I love Jessica. What Callie and I had, it's been over for a while." My hands shook as I backed away from the door. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I walked straight to my car and sat in the parking lot for 30 minutes. My phone buzzed with texts from Brandon asking where I was. I didn't answer. Instead, I drove home, packed a bag, and checked into a hotel. When Brandon called, I finally picked up. "Where are you?" he asked, sounding annoyed. "You missed our anniversary dinner." "I was there, Brandon. I was early." Silence. "Callie." "I heard everything. You and your mother, Jessica, the baby, all of it." "Listen, I can explain." "Don't. I don't want to hear your excuses." My voice was surprisingly steady. "I'll be in touch through my lawyer." I hung up before he could respond. That night, I didn't cry. I got angry. And then I got strategic. The next morning I called my best friend Lauren. "He's having a baby with someone else?" Lauren's voice cracked. "Oh my God, Callie, I'm so sorry." "I need recommendations for a good divorce attorney," I said. "The best you know." "Call Attorney Rodriguez. She's ruthless. I'll text you her number." Within 2 hours, I was sitting in Attorney Rodriguez's office. "Tell me everything," she said, pulling out a legal pad. I explained the whole situation, the overheard conversation, the 3-month pregnancy, Brandon's plan to leave me. "Here's what we're going to do," Attorney Rodriguez said. "First, we're freezing all joint accounts today. Second, I want you to hire a private investigator. Something about this doesn't add up." "What do you mean?" "A man doesn't throw away an 8-year marriage overnight. There's more to this story, and we're going to find it." She gave me the number for Detective Sarah Campbell. By that afternoon, I'd hired the investigator. "I'll start digging into Jessica's background," Detective Campbell told me over the phone. "Give me a week." Brandon kept calling. I didn't answer. He sent long texts apologizing, saying we needed to talk, that he'd made a mistake. Too little, too late. 5 days later, Detective Campbell called me. "Callie, you need to see what I found. Can you come to my office?" When I arrived, she had a folder spread across her desk. "Jessica Morgan has done this before," she said, sliding photos toward me. "Twice, actually. In Phoenix and then in Seattle." "Done what?" "Faked pregnancies to extort money from married men. She targets guys with good incomes, convinces them she's pregnant, and then either fakes a miscarriage after getting a payout or just disappears." My jaw dropped. "Are you serious?" "Dead serious. I found social media posts from 2 ex-girlfriends of men she scammed. They tried to warn others, but the posts are buried. And here's the kicker. I pulled some strings and got access to her medical records. She's not pregnant." "What?" "She's been telling Brandon she's 3 months along, right? I have documentation from her doctor's office dated 2 weeks ago. No pregnancy." I leaned back in my chair, processing this information. So she's scamming him. Exactly. and probably planning to lose the baby right after he gives her a big chunk of money or leaves you and puts her on his insurance and bank accounts. Do you have proof I can use? Detective Campbell smiled. I have medical records, copies of messages she sent to her previous victims, testimony from 2 men she scammed before. This woman is going down, Callie, and so is your cheating husband. I spent the next week preparing. Attorney Rodriguez helped me draft all the divorce papers and compile Detective Campbell's evidence. Then I invited Brandon to dinner at his mother's house. Helen was in on the plan. Once I told her what I discovered, she'd been furious with her son. Brandon showed up looking nervous. Callie, I'm glad you agreed to meet, he said, reaching for my hand. I pulled away. Sit down, Brandon. He sat across from me at Helen's dining table. His mother stood in the doorway with her arms crossed. I know you're angry, but if we could just... Brandon started. Tell me about Jessica's baby, I interrupted. He blinked. What? The baby. Your baby with Jessica. How far along did you say she was? 3 months. Why? I slid a folder across the table. These are medical records from 2 weeks ago. Jessica is not pregnant, Brandon. She's never been pregnant. His face went pale as he opened the folder. What is this? The truth. Jessica Morgan has done this before. Twice. She targets married men, convinces them she's pregnant, and then scams them for money. No, that's not... I have testimony from her previous victims. I have her medical records. I have messages she sent planning this whole thing. I leaned forward. She played you, Brandon, and you were so desperate to believe some young woman wanted you that you threw away our marriage. Helen spoke up from the doorway. How could you be so stupid, Brandon? Mom, I didn't know. You didn't know because you didn't care to know, Helen snapped. You betrayed your wife for a con artist. Brandon's hands shook as he flipped through the evidence. I need to call Jessica. I need to... Good luck with that, I said. Detective Campbell tried calling her yesterday. Her number's disconnected. Her apartment is empty. She's gone. He looked up at me, his eyes wide with panic. Callie, I'm so sorry. I made a horrible mistake. Please, we can work through this. I stood up. No, we can't. I'm filing for divorce. You'll be served tomorrow. Please don't do this. I love you. I was confused, but I love you. You don't get to decide that anymore, I said coldly. Attorney Rodriguez will be in touch. 3 weeks after that dinner, I sat in Attorney Rodriguez's conference room for the final divorce settlement meeting. Brandon's lawyer looked defeated before we even started. My client is willing to split assets 50-50, his attorney said. Attorney Rodriguez didn't even look up from her notes. That's not happening. Excuse me? My client is entitled to the house, the full savings account, Brandon's retirement fund, and 70% of his business equity. He committed adultery, which we can prove, and attempted to defraud my client by hiding assets in preparation to leave the marriage. Brandon leaned forward. Callie, please, be reasonable. Reasonable? I finally looked at him. You were going to leave me with nothing for a fake baby and a con artist? Now you want me to be reasonable? I made a mistake. You made a choice, I corrected him. A very stupid choice. His lawyer shuffled papers nervously. We'd like to counter with... We're not negotiating, Attorney Rodriguez cut him off. Accept these terms or we go to court, where I'll ensure every detail of Brandon's affair becomes public record, including how he fell for an obvious scam because he was thinking with something other than his brain. I watched Brandon's face crumble. I'll lose everything. Yes, I said simply. You will. His lawyer whispered something to him. Brandon just nodded, defeated. We'll accept the terms, his attorney said quietly. After they signed the papers and left, Attorney Rodriguez high-fived me. That was beautiful, she said. You did great. Thank you for everything, I told her. My pleasure. Men like Brandon need to learn that actions have consequences. That evening, Lauren came over to my house now, with champagne. To new beginnings, she toasted, pouring us each a glass. To never ignoring red flags again, I added, clinking her glass. Have you heard from Brandon since the settlement? Lauren asked. He texted me this morning, begging me to reconsider. What did you say? I blocked his number. Lauren laughed. Perfect. What about Helen? She called yesterday. She apologized for raising such an idiot and said she's taking me to lunch next week. I always liked her. My phone buzzed. It was Detective Campbell. You're not going to believe this, she said when I answered. Jessica Morgan was just arrested in Denver. She tried the same scam on another guy, but this time, the wife had read about her online and called the police immediately. So she's finally facing charges? Multiple counts of fraud across 3 states. She's looking at serious prison time. After I hung up, Lauren raised her glass again. To karma. To evidence and good lawyers, I corrected. We both drank to that. The next day, I ran into Brandon's coworker Tyler at the coffee shop. Callie, I heard what happened. I'm so sorry, he said. Don't be. I'm better off. Everyone at the office knows he got scammed. He's been humiliated. The partners are talking about pushing him out. Good, I said without hesitation. Cold, Tyler said, but he was smiling. Deserved, but cold. He made his choice. Now he gets to live with it. Walking back to my car, I felt lighter than I had in years. Brandon lost our house, most of his money, his respect at work, his mother's approval, and his wife. All because he couldn't keep it in his pants and was dumb enough to believe a professional con artist. I didn't forgive him. I didn't give him a second chance. I just moved on with my life and let him deal with the mess he created. Sometimes the best revenge isn't elaborate or dramatic. Sometimes it's just refusing to be the person who picks up the pieces while they walk away unscathed. Have you ever discovered a betrayal that ended up being even worse than you thought? What would you have done in my situation? Like and subscribe for more stories about people who refused to be victims and fought back the right way.